Today I'll be reviewing this absolutely stunning 2014 Aston Martin DB9. This is a 5.9 litre V12 Carbon edition, so a very rare iteration of the DB9. It's basically the second rarest DB9 special edition ever made, especially in the Coupé form. And yeah, a little bit of insight to the DB9. It was released for 2004 model year. It originally had 450 brake horsepower. They later bumped it up to 470, and this car being a 2012 to 2016 facelift model, it has the 510 horsepower DBS engine in it. So yeah, really nice. I think the Carbon editions were only made from 2014 to 2015-ish, and yeah, there's 4 different special editions. There was a Carbon edition, the GT, the GT007 Bond edition, and the last of the 9, where there was actually only 9 coupes and 9 convertibles made. I think those are the last actual 18 DB9s made. But yeah, that is the rarest edition. But Carbon's very rare. It's believed that there's only 1 in 66 or 66 cars brought to the UK in Volante form, and I think the coupe is believed to be around 20 cars, so it's an extremely rare version of the DB9. The Carbon edition was offered in either AML Special Carbon Black Metallic or this Stratus White Contemporary Metallic, which this car is. You can also tell from opening the door, the sill plaque actually says Carbon White on the Carbon White cars and Carbon Black on the black ones. But yeah, the Carbon edition was about a £10,000 bump over the regular car. So you had the exterior carbon pack and the interior carbon pack standard on the Carbon editions, along with bi-xenon headlamps. So you've got a front carbon fibre splitter as part of exterior carbon pack, carbon fiberglass mirror stalks and mirror caps or casings, carbon fiber side strakes, and carbon fiber rear lamp infills, along with a lovely looking carbon fiber rear diffuser. This one's also got the optional £995 sports exhaust, which gives you matte black tailpipes and a slightly louder rear back box and silencer. The Carbon editions also came with a hallmark feature of a 20-inch 10-spoke or sort of 10 split spoke or 20-spoke gloss or satin diamond turned black alloys, which look absolutely stunning. You've got 400mm front and 360mm rear carbon ceramic matrix discs with 6-piston thing at the front and 4-piston at the rear calipers, along with red calipers. The Carbon editions had an option of the whole colour palette of brake calipers standard, so you could basically pick whatever colour you want. You could have yellow, you could have black, silver, grey, red, or maybe copper, all standard on the palette range, so really nice. And the set leather interior included obsidian black. So yeah, you've got a reversing camera as well as an option, and a nice looking boot, along with this carpet which you can lift up here, and it reveals the fuse box, in which the previous owner has basically installed a valve switch. So obviously someone's basically taken out a fuse and put a sort of a regulator or solenoid, so basically you can actually control the exhaust through a flap now, through a key fob, which opens and closes the valves. Otherwise these are butterfly valve operated on a vacuum, so they only open at certain RPMs, which isn't as nice, but having the choice to open it and close it whenever you want is really good. You've got Pirelli P0s as well. They're only about 2 years old in the rear and I think 3 at the front, with really good treads. And yeah, this one's also got rear privacy glass fitted, and a sort of carbon style wrap on the roof, which actually looks quite nice. It's a carbon effect style, as well as the carbon front grille and the carbon vents on the bonnet, which obviously can be taken off if needed. But yeah, you've got the obsidian black full grain leather interior. The Carbon editions came with red stitching throughout, and red accenting, along with these red looking paddle shift, which, just like the N430 I reviewed, is really nice. You've also got back seats, which are practically non-existent, but yeah, really nice. And yeah, the Carbon Whites come with this forged carbon sill plaque on the middle off the tread plate here, or sort of on the side, which is really nice with this leather cladding. And yeah, it's just absolutely gorgeous on the interior here. We've got a full Alcantara steering wheel with a 12 o'clock marker as an option, which came from factory. And yeah, really nice. The DB9s came standard. Well, the facelift 2012 cars came with the 700 watt Aston Martin premium audio system, which, even though it's not a Bang & Olufsen, is an incredible system. It's got so much bass. When you turn the sub up to the max, literally the bass is at the middle and it's already pumping. I can't imagine what full bass and full sub is. It's very it's very loud. You've got the Dolby Pro Logic 2 thing there. So if you click menu here, basically, you can basically just change the sound settings, and you've got 3-channel. So this is Dolby Pro Logic 2 or 3-channel full surround sound system with 7.1. You've got 3-channel Dolby PL2 or just off, and you've got an inbuilt equalizer deck as well, which is quite good. You've got bass, treble, fader, balance, sub, center and surround, so you've got a heap ton of options to choose from. The facelift cars benefited from these 10-way electrically adjustable seats, which the other cars also had, but the slightly sleeker looking memory button switches and these nice looking metal switches in replacement of the older black plastic ones. You also had a hard disk drive Garmin nav unit in replacement of the older sort of Volvo unit, which was DVD and really outdated. It was 2D, you couldn't really update the maps, but this one's pretty up to date, and it is 3D as well, which is nice, and shows you a little picture of sort of Aston Martin DB9 on the screen, which is quite cool. It also can be turned off by holding the nav button. The Carbon cars came with a carbon interior pack, which gave you a matte carbon sort of center fascia, carbon interior door pulls, and yeah, just overall really lovely. You also got Carbon editions, full leather headlining with Alcantara pillars and sort of outer sections, which is really nice, and these matte black paddle shift, which is lovely. But yeah, putting down the window, you can hear that lovely V12 roar to life. You've got sport mode as well, and you've got the later revised adaptive 3-stage damping. So you've got normal modes, sport mode, and holding the button in puts it in track mode. And these came with the Touchtronic 2 ZF6 gearbox, so they didn't come with the 3, and the 1 was obviously a very old gearbox, but yeah, all the DB9s basically came with Touchtronic 2. A very limited amount of them came with manual. Very early DB9s could be manual, but it's very hard to find one. And yeah, you've got the reversing camera as well as a fly-off handbrake, which can be engaged, pulling it up and then down, and then obviously putting the car back in park, you can put the handbrake back up and then put it back down. You've got a Volvo style switchgear with electric folding mirrors, as you'd expect, cruise control, telephone, DAB radio on the facelift cars, which is quite nice, a lot nicer than FM radio. And yeah, as I mentioned before, this was a nice pen you get on all Astons, and the trinket tray option as well, which gives you this little compartment here with a 12-volt socket, a USB-A, and a sort of iPod connector pin socket. You got your parking sensors button there, and yeah, a little bit of piano black. Obviously Carbon editions come with piano black and the black switches, with the black rotary switches and the glass switches, which is nice. I do like the glass switches a lot more than the regular ones. And you got the gloss black air vents, which is sort of part of the Carbon interior pack, or the Carbon sort of trim level. It's basically the sports interior pack combined with the Carbon. And yeah, you've got like a little valve switch, you know, which you can obviously open and close the valves with. But yeah, let's just move on to the engine now. Under the bonnet lies Aston Martin's 5.9 litre all-alloy naturally aspirated V12 with 510 brake horsepower on the facelift cars. So that is a 60 horsepower increase over the standard DB9 from back in the day, and I think the later ones had 470, so it's even a 40 horsepower increase over that. And like I said, it's basically got the DBS engine in it, as it has 510 brake horsepower, so really nice. It was basically the final run for the DB9 until they sadly stopped making them. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and let's move on to the test drive now. Hey guys, today I'll be test driving the DB9 Carbon. So we actually had a Carbon edition a very long time ago, Carbon Black. But yeah, that was quite a while ago. And yeah, today I'm looking at a Carbon White, which is quite interesting. So very rare iterations of the vehicle, obviously. But yeah, really lovely this one. This one's got a sports exhaust as well. I've already driven a DB9, you know, an old dog, 06, and a DBS as well. I found my DBS a bit more firmer, and but yeah, it does have a very fruity tone to this one. This one's had the valves sort of adjusted, so you know, they open at, you know, sort of at all RPMs, which is quite nice, as opposed to a butterfly valve, which sort of only opens when it wants to. But yeah, you do get quite a lot of wheel spin when you put your foot down, when it's quite damp. Yeah, in track mode as well, there's a suspension that's really nice. All I can say really, it drives very similar to the DBS, and obviously DB cars, I feel like they're a bit more comfortable than the Volantes and stuff, and the short wheelbase cars. You know, this is designed to be a Grand Tourer with 4 seats, but I mean, in reality, you're not really going to fit anyone in the back. But then again, it is an Aston Martin, so you wouldn't expect that. But yeah, it does sound really nice. Obviously, these sound tremendously good with V12. They're unparalleled in terms of sound and the driving experience. It's just, you know, slotting the key in the dashboard, having the buttons here is something else really. You know, there's not much out there which sort of is, you can compare it to really, you know, the Vanquishes and stuff. I sort of prefer the look of the DB9 and the DBS to the Vanquish, in all fairness. I think one of my dream cars would probably be the Mark 1 Vanquish, actually. But yeah, just, it's an absolutely stunning car. I think white's a bit Marmite, but it really depends on who will, you know, want a white one. But I think it looks quite nice. It sparkles quite well. I forgot to mention it's sort of like a pearly metallic. It is a gorgeous looking colour, and with all the carbon, it really does set it apart. I think it's a bit nicer looking than black. You just see carbon, you know it's carbon. It's got that sort of bronzy, sort of grey effect to it. You know, just like an off black effect. But yeah, nevertheless, really nice. But yeah, you guys have to admit, this thing sounds absolutely brilliant. Just that absolute raspiness to that sports exhaust, it really does help the V12, you know. I think the DBS's come standard with that exhaust, but yeah, it is really nice, you know, fruity tone to it, which gives it that distinctive raw sound. You know, naturally aspirated, they are really nice. You can only, you know, just hear the injectors and everything firing up, really, no turbos or anything. But yeah, just absolutely superb. It's just a lovely car to drive. The carbon everywhere is really nice. I think this is one of the sort of additions you really want to buy, and they'll hold their value, you know, in the future. I think just a regular DB9, the nicest thing I like is personally the rear lamp infills. I think that's the most prominent feature of having any form of carbon on the outside of these Astons. I think when one doesn't have it, it's like, it's a bit of a low spec one. It's like, yeah, you just sort of, it bugs you a bit. But the carbon splitter and stuff I could probably live without. Sometimes they're painted in grey or like sort of, yeah, anodized grey or black, so it sort of doesn't look too bad. But yeah, it's obviously very nice. Relatively up to date, it's not terrible, and you've got the lovely Touchtronic 2 gearbox. It's just a dream to drive, honestly. It's a subliminal car, and I can see why they're, you know, sort of going up in value a bit almost, you know, or holding the value at least, because they're, you know, really lovely cars, and you can pick them up at absolute bargain of a price, considering they're about £150,000 new. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the test drive, and hope the video gives you a bit of insight to the DB9 Carbon Edition.